Let's talk about the great entrance. Now, the great entrance is going to be clearly in the realm of the liturgy of the Eucharist. It's that second part of the liturgy that I mentioned to you. So what will happen here is that I will take the gifts. Now remember, the gifts are not consecrated this time. They're just bread and they're just wine. And I will carry these gifts out of the altar, process down the church, come up the center aisle, and then I'll go through the gates. So the question is, why am I doing this? Wouldn't it be so much easier to take those gifts from the table and then just walk 5 steps and bring them to the altar? That sounds like a very reasonable thing to do. So why make this long procession all the way around the church? Well, it's actually symbolic of the way that liturgy was conducted in the ancient church. Now let's think way back under the church of Justinian. We're talking about the Hagia Sophia church, the great church, and most of the other churches in that 3rd and 4th century. The way that the process worked is before the liturgy, the laity would come just outside the church, and there would be a little area set up on the side. This area is known in Greek as a skevophylakion. Skevophylakion is just a covered place of shelter. And the deacons of the church would be there, and they would be accepting from the people those gifts that they had. One of the gifts is the bread, and the other gift then is the wine. And they would collect all this from the people to be used in the preparation of the gifts. Now, once the liturgy was about to begin, the priest would already, or the bishop would already be in the altar area. And so what we need is some way to get the bread and the wine to the priest or to the bishop. And so what we would do is the deacons would collect all of that, open up the doors of the church, and walk down the center aisle, and then hand them then to the bishop or hand them to the priest. This we still see when there is a bishop that is co-celebrating with other priests. The priest will process around during the great entrance, and they will present the gifts to the bishop. Remember, the bishop will not process with the gifts. And so the priest will come up, and each one of them will hand them the chalice, will hand them then the paten, and they will receive it. And this is how we remember that original act the way that it was. So from a practical standpoint, the great entrance is a way to get the bread and the wine from the outside of the church into the altar. And what we do today, since those gifts are already there, we create then this symbolic act, which is also done when we have the bishop here. So remember, the gifts that are being presented here are not the consecrated gifts, and it's just this idea of transporting them. Now, we have shrouded that great entrance in the mystery of Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. But the church always does things from a practical reason and then adds a degree of symbology to it. Thanks for joining us for this installment of Greek Orthodoxy 101. And I'm reminding everybody, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel for some more interesting and great videos. And don't forget, if you've got a question or a comment, make sure you hit the comment button and we'll get those answered. Until next time, Father Angelo.